can't all afford like really expensive like coaches and academies and stuff, but these are some of the things that work. The drills I did today, they work on like many aspects of your game, moving backwards, forwards, racket speed, fluidity, weight transfer, quick hands, balls that are deep, balls that are short. Like just something like this where you kind of work it in every day and your body gets used to these motions, then it can really help your game even if you're not doing it with a professional coach watching you. So I kind of ran into a problem. I broke my strings while I was hitting, so I'm just gonna do drills, but I'm gonna see how long my racket lasts, and then we're just gonna take it from there. But these are some drills that you can do where like basically anyone can do as long as you have someone to toss you balls. So hopefully this will be very helpful. So first of all, I want to thank Jasmine for tossing me balls for this whole practice. Without her, this wouldn't have been possible. So we're gonna start with just a quick warm-up where I'm just moving side to side, getting my feet going and getting my racket speed up slowly. You never want to just go into it and try to crush every single ball. You want to see how your condition is that day, and the most important thing though is that you get your movements correct, and you don't want to just because you're warming up, it doesn't mean you want to be sloppy. You can go slower, but you still want to make sure that you're working on or you're thinking about the technique that you should be doing. So warm up with intention, and that's probably the most important thing. So I noticed during the warm-up that my backhand wasn't really going as deep as I wanted, and my left hand was finishing too fast. So I wasn't planning to do this, but like it's good to know like what your condition is during the warm-up, right? So I'm gonna add a drill. I'm just gonna groove a couple down the line, but really follow through with my left hand just to correct. So then when I go through the rest of my like drills and practices, like I know that I'll be doing it correct. So like I mentioned before, my backhands didn't feel good at all. I felt like I was aiming deeper and they were all going short. And this is usually if I'm pulling across or pulling too soon with my right hand. So during this, a mini warm-up, I guess, I'm just going to really focus on hitting with my left hand. You can see that in the beginning I was letting go with my right hand. You'll see that this really helps with like just going through the ball and using my left hand. Hitting the ball in the net because I'm working on following through, getting deep. So after a couple more adjustments, I've actually changed my follow through a little bit to where my left hand would go forward more before I finished upwards. And this might seem counterintuitive, but it actually helped me get the ball deeper because I wasn't brushing as early. So these mini adjustments are just important to set the tone for how your practice is going to go, because you want to be comfortable. But of course you can't fix every problem every day. But just things like this, you want to be intentional and you want to think about them. Okay, so the end of that was a lot better because I realized like I was pulling too much with my right hand, so my racket wasn't able to go through on my left hand. My right hand was actually too fast. So by the end of it, I just let my left hand take control a lot more. It's really strange because like that's something that I already know and something I already focus on a lot, but for some reason like every day it feels a little bit different, right? So now I'm gonna just go on to doing more drills that I actually intended on working on. So this drill is gonna focus basically on racket speed and fluidity. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit a bunch of swing volleys and swing volleys only, and this is gonna be tough if you have a hitch in your swing because you're not gonna have time. So this actually focuses on a lot of things: preparation, swing speed, and you have to get under the ball and you have to go all the way through the ball.
So this is a really good drill that I like to do just to make sure that all of my strokes have good racket speed, drop, and fluidity. This will make sure that you do certain things correct, because while you hit a swing volley, you really have to use momentum. You let your racket do work and have your hands in the right position to hit these shots well. So I really like to start practices with these, and I actually have my students do quite a bit of these too. It really makes it so you have to hit through the ball and have a good contact, or else these balls are just not going to feel good. Lastly, if you have to run to get a swing volley, you have to get there fairly early, so this makes your spacing just automatically good, and it makes it so that your feet have to constantly be moving and getting into your set position.
Alright, so for the next drill, I'm gonna have to hit short balls, but I have to recover back behind the cone every time. So I'm just gonna practice my forward and back movement, and especially going forward, getting my spacing right and getting my momentum into the ball, and then recovering back every time.
This is one of the most underrated parts of tennis, moving forward and being able to transition comfortably into a hit or into an offensive position. People don't really work on moving forward and the fluidity of their footwork and like when to turn your body and everything. This drill will force you to do it correctly, because you have to recover and instantly go forward again, while learning about when you get your body turned, when you get your racket set and your hands prepared, in terms of like how far are you from the ball when you're trying to get all these things done. And now the tosser doesn't have to toss them perfectly in the same place every time. This is actually good because it'll force you to adjust to different lengths. I really like this drill because I think especially recreational players, they don't really get up to the short ball very fast, and this will increase your muscle memory for doing so.
Okay, so now we did forward movement. Now we're gonna drill backward movement, backwards and then hitting. So the ball is gonna be more of a heavy ball, but this will help me transition in the fact that like if I do get pushed back, then I'll be able to get back and still get power into my strokes. I'll still be able to load and use more of my own core and my legs to generate power, and then get back to the middle, try to get court position again. So what I'm going to do is I have to get back to the cone after every single shot, and the ball is going to be tossed behind me.
Okay, maybe not that far back, but this one might be a little hard for the tosser if they've never tossed before, but they'll get it. As long as the ball lands somewhat behind you, you'll be able to do this. And now, as you can see, like, I haven't done this in a while, and this is a movement that doesn't come as natural, moving back and hitting at the same time. People really don't practice this movement at all, and if you watch a lot of people play, when they have to move back for a shot, it looks very awkward and choppy, because a lot of the times they will face the court while moving back, where you can see when I'm running backwards, especially for a ball that's to the side, I'm actually prepared and I'm just running versus side shuffling. Now if it's close enough, you can side shuffle, but side shuffles are slower. And you can see that these steps allow me to actually turn while running backwards, and it'll get me to the destination with already having loaded my legs and shoulders.
So the next drill, I'm going to be standing on the baseline, and the ball is going to be tossed somewhere between the baseline and the cones. So the balls aren't going to be fast, but because it's going to land by my feet and I can't back up, this is going to force me to prepare really early and just to focus on getting my racket where it has to be, working on my hands, being really fast, and having my feet in good position and staying down.
The main goal of this drill is to work on getting your hands and getting your racket into the right position while being kind of short on time. So especially when the ball lands deep, you're not going to have as much time to prepare because it doesn't slow down as much after the bounce. Now when you're time pressured like this, you want your stroke to be a little bit more compact, and you want to keep your body as quiet as possible without too much movement. Now here, I'm shortening my stroke a little bit and making sure that I'm getting the ball slightly in front, even if I'm time pressured and I have to take it on the rise. This one will probably take more to get used to, but don't back up if you can, and just try to focus on your contact point being in front of your front hip.
Alright, so I'm just gonna drill my short ball on this next exercise. The cones are just there because I need to rotate all the way through in front of the cones and all the way back around, just to make sure I got my body weight in and I'm not pulling back in order to hit these shots. This is just something that forces me to get the muscle memory of like really committing to the shot. I think one thing I do a lot, especially when I'm nervous, is on a short ball, I'll hit and I'll try to pull. I'll try to be really safe. Like I want to hit a winner and I want to hit a ton of spin, which isn't really, it's not really possible. You can't get the best of both worlds, like a heavy drive when you have a high short ball.
Here's a really good example of a drill that'll force you into positions that are necessary for you to hit a good shot. So something that I struggle with sometimes, especially when I'm low on confidence and haven't been practicing, is to fully commit my body weight throughout a short ball. Now, the previous drill of moving up and back and hitting short balls was mostly to work on movement, timing, and spacing. This one is to completely commit your forward motion and momentum through the ball, as you have to rotate in front of those cones the entire time. I really need to do this drill a lot more because I tend to pull up and back a little bit when I hit, because like I said, I want that spin. But when the ball is higher than the net and short, it's much better for you just to drive straight through the ball. Here's some from the side view. Something I noticed about my stroke actually is I'm a little more extended in the back than I actually want to be. I think I want to be a little more compact in the back. This is okay because the ball is slow, but I think I could improve on this. After practicing this though, it kind of gave me the feeling of being able to go through the ball again, and my muscle memory started to return just off of one session, so I highly recommend this drill.
Alright, so next thing I want to practice is moving inside out for the forehand, inside out forehands and inside in forehands. I have the cone there just so I can, after I hit, I have to go back around the cone, so that gets me going around, hitting and getting my momentum in the correct direction. So I'm just gonna go around, and I can choose which one I want to hit, but this is just to get the movement and getting used to going back, loading and hitting.
This is another drill where the cone is just going to force me to get my weight in the correct direction, the most efficient direction for me to get all the power I want, moving the right way, moving into the ball. So you'll see that I'm going, even though I'm running around to hit a forehand, I'm trying to transfer my weight back towards the cone. That way more of the momentum will go into the ball, and as you can see, this is quite effective. Just off of the entire practice doing these drills, by this point my forehand had already been feeling really good, and I was hitting it a lot more comfortably and confidently by this point.
So I'm just going to do the same thing now, but the ball is going to be higher, so I have to generate all the pace.
I'm just doing the same thing here, but there's a little bit less pace because she's tossing the ball higher, which means I have to generate all the pace by myself. Now, in my opinion, this is a lot harder. I like to counterpunch people, but of course this is something you have to work on, because if you counterpunch successfully, then you're going to earn a short ball and you're going to have to generate by yourself.
Last ground stroke thing, I'm just going to go backhands cross court and really just groove it. I'm kind of getting tired,
So here I'm just hitting simple backhands cross court just to groove my backhand cross court. But I also want to say that many of these drills that I only showed with forehand, you can do them on the backhand as well, and I just didn't really have the energy to do it because even when I'm drilling like hand-fed balls like this, I'm still doing it at a decently high intensity, and I haven't done it in a while, so I was so tired. But a lot of these things, all of these things are very good for practicing either side, and I highly recommend you don't just work on your forehand as well. It's really good to be able to attack and move comfortably off both wings. At this point, my backhand had been feeling way better just because I figured out where I was supposed to finish, how much I was supposed to use my left hand.
Alright, so now I'm just going to practice my serve. I can't serve too much because like my shoulder's just not ready for that kind of stuff right now. But two things that I notice when I play with my students get really sloppy. My back foot will do like a fake pinpoint, so my weight's not really on my back foot when I load. And I notice my toss always goes further to the right and to the front just because I'm being like sloppy, and I've noticed that's kind of become a habit because I don't practice and focus on the correct serve technique that much anymore. So those two things I just want to kind of watch out for and see if I can keep that from happening as much as possible. I'm gonna serve with this racket, dude. It's so heavy. It's just so hard to get spin with this racket. I can't manipulate the toss as well. The light's right in my freaking face when I toss. Alright, so now I'm just gonna go. Okay, so Jasmine, that's wide. That's body is like straight down the middle of the, and that's T. You're gonna call which way you want me to serve, and I'll aim for the target.
Wait, say it again.
So wide, body, and T.
Oh.
T is like straight in the middle. So you can just, you can say where you want me to serve and I'll aim there.
Okay. Let's start with body.
Body.
Nice.
Alright, next.
T.
That was much different than body, but hey, it was a good serve. Next.
Yeah, that's good. T again.
T again. Close. Next.
Wide.
Wide. Slice wide.
Let's do
I
wide
leaned in
again.
too much. Huh?
Let's do wide again.
Yeah, I'm doing wide again.
Ooh,
That's an
good.
ace. That was sick. Dude, this light is in my face every single toss. I literally can't see the ball. Next.
Wide again.
Wide again.
Nice. Good shot.
Next.
T.
Oh, I'm so close. One more.
T again. Oh, good.
That one, my toss floated to the side. Alright, next.
Let's do wide.
One more. Wide again.
Yeah.
Super slicey. Ah. Try to make it like curve.
Redo it then.
Dude, my arm's literally getting tired from this racket. I'm trying to manipulate it too much.
Oh, let's do body.
No, I'm gonna do wide one more. I gotta make it. I gotta loosen up. Let my racket do the work. One more. This serve should be easy for right-handers. I'm Higher here. There you
Oh,
go.
that's good.
You need a massage gun for sure later, dude.
Now, at this point, I had finished all of like the specific drills I wanted to show, and I just wanted to groove a couple of shots, namely my slice, because this is probably the thing that holds together my game. I really like to use a slice offensively and defensively, so this is kind of a barometer for how confident I am, is how offensively I'm able to hit my slice on the run, and if I'm driving my slice or cutting through my slice versus like floating it. Today I'm slicing really well. I think it's the 90 square inch racket. Here I'm just going to groove my forehand a little bit more because I didn't get to hit many forehands from deep cross court, especially because where Jasmine was standing through most of the drills, I mean, it's not her fault, I put her there, but it didn't allow me to really commit to hitting cross court because I didn't want to hit her. So here I just moved her to the side a little to give me more space to hit cross court, and of course I added a couple more down the lines just so I can get the feeling of changing directions as well. And this isn't the main point of this video, but I like to groove everything, so here it is.
Alright, so haven't practiced in a while, but that was really good. Like, I could actually feel my forehand getting better just from drilling, like hand toss and everything. So I think this kind of workout is just really useful for a lot of people. And you guys don't really need any like professional hitters or hitting partners to be really productive. You just have to know what to drill. You just have to do drills that, you know, kind of force you into certain situations, drills that work on certain things, that force you into the right motions, basically, because you can't really just stand there and hit down the middle and expect to correct everything. Like, you need to do things that will specifically target things that you have to work on, and that's something that recreational players just don't understand. They think like they can pick a technique, say I'm gonna drop my racket more today, or I'm gonna follow through more today, and then just go hit with their friends randomly down the middle the whole time, or just like play a set and expect to work on these things. And while some people can do that, it's really hard to focus on fixing some issues when fixing certain issues when you're not just focused on just that thing, and you're not doing drills that don't work if you're not doing it correctly. So focused practice is it's really important, and that's something that I haven't done it in so long. And right now, like, the only time I do any kind of correction is when I'm hitting with my students and I'm just correcting myself on the fly. So even just through that session, I started to feel way better about just basically my forehand and my backhand, because I got to think through like, hey, I need to do certain techniques a little bit more, or I need to focus on my backhand, like getting my left hand through. And even though I already know basic information like that, when I'm playing a match, like, I can't do it to the fullest extent where I can experiment, make some mistakes, and really just make it perfect, because I didn't realize the extent that I wasn't getting my left hand through, because I thought I was using it, but I really wasn't, until I just did that down the line drill in the beginning where I deviated from my practice plan. So, you know, we can't all afford like really expensive like coaches and academies and stuff. but these are some of the things that work. The drills I did today, they work on like many aspects of your game, moving backwards, forwards, racket speed, fluidity, weight transfer, quick hands, balls that are deep, balls that are short. Like just something like this, where if you kind of work it in every day and your body gets used to these motions, then it can really help your game, even if you're not doing it with a professional coach watching you. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and you guys learned something from that. Yeah, it was really helpful. I was doing this just to kind of get my muscle memory back, but it was a lot more helpful than I thought. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that and learned something from it. Have a good one. Peace out.